What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Double Tigers. You guys know what this is. You guys know who this is. And you know I got my main man Otaku with me. What's going on?
What's up, brother?
Not much. And then and you guys know it's yeah, I always get this damn thing tongue tied. A Pacific Island AAIP month or Pacific Islander month. So and we always have stuff going on. So Otaku got a bunch of stuff going on his channel. No, Noah got a bunch. K-pop got a bunch of stuff going on. Everybody got a bunch of stuff going on our channels. So we'll be. I'll try to pop into some of those interviews if they don't try to work me to the bone over over time. That's most of the reason I don't make it because I'm like I'm a bit tired, but
Yeah,
I'll try.
I mean, you're getting off work, so
Yeah,
you should be allowed to rest and prepare for the
right.
next day. So it's all good.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
do have Rhino Degawa next Saturday.
So
And
yep,
that'll be
yep.
over on my channel. So Double Tiger will move to my channel just for next week, and we'll go
Well,
from there.
well, you never know. Well, maybe if I don't feel like doing it, and then Otaku feel like doing it, so this thing will be jumping in between channels if for this month maybe, depending.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's next Saturday, so hopefully
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can make it.
No, for sure. Saturdays it's a little easier.
Yeah.
It's just during the week it's a little harder.
Right. Yeah. Rhino Degawa is Saturday, dude.
Yeah, yeah. So we're all good. I'll be able to make that one.
All right. Cool.
But yeah, everything else has been going all right. Well, a couple of movies came out. Thunderbolts came out. I went to see I went to see it on Free Comic Book Day, so that was good.
That's causing up a lot of stir. It's like
Yeah.
we got a new sort of team now.
Well, it's not really a spoiler anymore because they kind of they kind of went all over the place and started sticking. There were if you guys haven't seen the thing, is that there was a asterisk next to Thunderbolts. So if you guys so if you guys don't know, it's a new something team. I'm not gonna, but if you've been on social media, you already know. But we're gonna be nice and not actually spoil it if some people haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little, it is different from the comics, but
Right
I think the fact that we now have like
now,
a
yeah, and now
new
there's gonna be a
Avengers team,
new there's gonna be a new comic out with the same team.
right?
That's interesting, and it's
Yeah,
like,
it's one of those
eh,
reverse engineered things where they like
mhm.
set the precedent in the movie and then follow up with a comic book, which is cool.
I mean, that's cool because then it pulls in everybody that's watched the movie into
Right.
comics. So that might not be a bad idea, but that's my end of the spectrum. But otaku's end of the spectrum. They
I prefer it the other way, because what
yeah,
what it forces it basically says like, okay, well now the source material is going to come from movies for comic books when
right,
it
right.
should be the other way around, right? It should be like comic books should be the source material for movies.
I can see that too, but I can see another hand in this is non-comic book readers wants that team, and that you know what I mean. At least they have something they can actually go to and pull from. You know what I mean. It might be it might be movie adaptation parts. You know what I mean. It's not never know, but
Yeah, I just want to see Marvel and DC, these characters that we love in comic books, even like indie stuff like Dark Horse and Image. Um, though that those channels continue to be open, because then when
yeah,
once Hollywood decides, you know what, we don't need to tell Superman and Batman stories anymore, then that's when the whole comic book genre dies, and we're
right,
stuck with like whatever Netflix comes up with. So um,
yeah.
again, uh, I'm glad people liked Thunderbolts, and I hope that relationship between comic books and movies remains strong.
Yeah,
But I'd like to see Hollywood again respect the medium a little bit more. It's
yeah.
really like getting away from the comic book
But
source
I would.
materials.
I mean, I won't mind it if we get more people that want to read the books. You know what I mean? If it pulls more people in to read it, to read the material at least, because at least you know what I mean. If there's people that mention it on here on the channels where, hey, if you really want to, see where the storyline's going, and a lot of them give out like a bunch of reading material, so it's like people that don't watch people that don't read may actually go toward may actually go pick up whatever it is.
Good
So
point. Yeah, that is a great
yeah,
point. Yeah, as long as readership remains healthy,
right.
that I've there's some sad news to pass along. Uh, there are two local comic book shops, Dream Strands
Hmm.
and uh, what was the other one? Uh, I'm forgetting the other one, but um, well, actually, no, Mill Geek too, to a certain degree, but um, these comic book shops have gone out of business. No, Mill Geek is
Right.
still around. Don't get me wrong, Mill Geek is still around,
Right.
but there have been two closures, comic book shop closures in my area,
Right.
and Mill Geek's no longer selling. They're no longer going to carry comic books, meaning they're only going to do back issues and sell like toys and stuff.
Hmm.
They're not going to do new releases.
Uh,
They
I
will
mean,
take
it was
orders for VIP customers, like they'll take
right.
small orders, but they're
Right.
essentially just kind of cutting out the
Yeah, but no geek is the one that helps out Tom and all them though, right?
yeah, yeah,
So I'm not surprised they're going that way. You know what I mean? I'm not surprised
yeah.
because what Tom and them do is yeah. So not surprised. But back issues. I mean, kind of figured it. So some of these guys might, some of these places might not shut down completely. They might just go to straight to back issues because of stuff going on with the new books and stuff. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
I was talking to Russ, and he's basically saying like their main business is not walk-in business; it's
right,
all online.
right,
The
not surprised.
yeah.
uh,
To be honest, that's most I think shops, right? You have to maintain an online
presence,
presence with the walk-in business, the local business. But yeah, Mill Geek is really like kind of. I mean, they still have good fair amount of local customers, but that's not keeping their business alive. What's keeping their
it's not
business
keeping them
alive?
afloat. It's everything that's Tom and the online
Exactly,
stuff is
the
doing.
whatnot
So to
stuff,
keep,
the
yeah,
online sales, and so yeah, they're going to focus more on that and use their resources toward selling off
yeah.
inventory.
Sounds like our little shop now, our little shop called Urban Legends. That's what it sounds like. No Geek is going towards. It's
Yeah,
pretty much that's what it's
yeah,
sounding like.
yeah. It's a it is what
I
it
mean,
is, and
that's gonna be
I
a
get it.
that
I
might
really
be a
hope.
good thing for Seattle a little bit because since he's only gonna do back issues because there's no other shop that does, I would think, would doing that right now. Every other shop sells new issues and old issues, right? So far out
Well,
there.
it's a mix. It's a good mix. There's some that
Okay.
like rely heavily on like games, and
Okay.
those aren't the shops I go to. They're not real comic book shops. They're more
But
like
yeah, but well, I mean, a
hobby
lot of
shops.
there's yeah, both even over here is there's a bunch of shop for the gamer part, the
Yeah,
tabletops, and
yeah.
there's yeah. So, but there's
I feel like you have
re-
to have a good selection, right, to
mix,
just get people in.
right? It's rare to have a shop that just goes to back issues. That we only have one shop that does that, and then he only does back issues only, like back issues and toys
That's my kind of
and
shop. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
that's
just
my kind
back
of
issues also. So that's what sounds like No Geek is going towards is something like that. So
And yeah, I'll
it's
continue to go there because Mill Geek is just again they have some of the best prices.
right.
Uh, Russ is a great. I want to support Russ and his
Right.
business. So I'll continue to shop there. It's just I don't have budget these days. I'm just not buying as much. So I
Right.
think that's kind of also where we're hitting. These businesses are hitting. It's like they need people to buy,
Mm.
but just the demand that was
But
there
yeah,
maybe 2 years ago is
yeah.
really
But
kind
right now, everybody's budget had like let's just say you had a tiny budget. Now the ones that have tiny budgets might not have no budget, and then the ones that the ones that had big budgets is
a
going to tiny
negative
budget.
budget for most
Yeah,
people now.
yeah. It's a lot of this stuff is gonna be, and not only that, but com- and then don't forget the printing is not in the U.S. anymore. So printing is out of country.
That's a great
You know.
point. Comic
Yeah.
book paper is going to cost more. Printing is going to cost more, and
Right.
more importantly, you see the 150% increase on bags and board prices. You're basically
Yep.
paying double now for
Right.
bags and
Or
board.
triple, depending on
BCWs.
depending if it's Mylars, it might be triple of
Yeah.
what it is. That's why I bought magazine Mylars last week. I'm like, let me go grab these things before
Yeah, before
before
the
anything.
tariffs hit, right? That was
Yeah,
smart.
yeah,
Yeah, that was smart.
yeah,
It's going to be
yeah,
double the cost now. So I'm just like, I'm kind of in a situation where, like, man, I'm just going to wait,
yeah,
because what's going to happen is, and this, I know it sounds horrible, but we're going to hit a recession. People are going to be
right,
struggling economically. You're
right,
going to see a lot of collectors be forced to really just sell their collection for whatever money they can get, right?
right.
So I'm just gonna wait till that. I might be one of those people. I might be one of those people that, like,
Yeah,
shoot, man, I gotta pay bills,
right,
and this is not producing any kind of income for me. So
right, right,
I don't want to be forced to sell it. But if
right.
at the end of the
If
day,
it
it's gonna,
yeah, if worse comes to worse, at least
if worse comes
you know.
to worse, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. At least like all of us, worst comes to worst. At least we know we got some type of cushion or at least money there. That we know of. So
well, we'll see. I mean,
yeah,
I think it's gonna be a good buying opportunity for if you're in
yeah,
the business of selling and you're,
right.
like,
A
um,
lot of buy. It's a buyer's market. It's not a seller's market
it'll
right
become
now.
more of a buyer's market for sure. Because when
Yeah,
everybody
it's
is needing to liquidate and wanting to sell their collection for, you know, like a bulk the whole collection for whatever price,
yeah,
you're gonna get some great deals. So
right,
yeah, if you have money to buy comic books and you think you're gonna kind of over the next couple of years, be able to kind of float by through this economy, then as a collector, you're going to love where prices go soon, because I think you're going to see a huge
yeah.
uh, flood of inventory come in, and
Not
just
not only a huge
it's not
flood of
be worth
inventory.
much.
Like how the books were up here during COVID. Now it's gonna be like it's gonna we saw it up here, but it might be down here by the
Yeah, it's
but I
going to be
don't
like
want it.
2000. It's going to be like 2000, year 2000 again, right? For comic
Yeah,
book prices,
yeah,
basically. Nobody buying books except the hardcore, the hardcore,
y-
rough,
but
rugged, and
that's
raw.
yeah, but that's the or yeah. It doesn't matter who, you know, the ones that are hardcore collectors are gonna still be collecting no matter what it is. But it's not gonna be you know as much, but it's probably about it used to be like this. Like I said, it's gonna probably shrink up down to about this much.
Yeah, I'm going to do everything in my power to keep my collection. I mean,
Right,
hell yeah. I mean, it's like, if it comes down to selling stuff, I'll sell other stuff before my comics. But
right,
at
right,
the end of the day, like, yeah, if worst comes to worst, then I got to at least liquidate. I'm trying to get rid of some of the comics I don't want, try to sell
right,
these things, but
right.
I don't know. Maybe I'll just sell the whole thing to Russ for, like a dime each or something. get something for them. These
Yeah, at least if you know you needed it, yeah, you know you got a couple of shops that you can do in Rust or somewhere, So
oh yeah,
I
so
like
the other shop that went out of business was Destiny City Comics.
ah
Destiny City Comics and Dreamstrander, Dreamstrand Comics. Dreamstrand Comics was a shop that Naman Young and I actually visited
right,
when we and Destiny City. We both visited those two shops when we were
yeah,
when he was out here, and those were two of my favorite shops.
right. But it happens, man. It's those things are shops are always it's small business. You know what I mean? It's if nobody's coming in to booster it or if they don't know, a lot. Some of them are a lot older and they don't know whatnot or they don't know what internet sales are. It's gonna affect their business a little bit. So it's like
I think what did Destiny, according to like the explanation why they're going out of business, I think they may come back at some point, but
something
ultimately it was
smaller,
like,
maybe.
well, the rent, the
Oh
rent
yeah,
went up.
yeah.
So,
But that's
that's it.
all small businesses. If you know it's same thing with when I had the restaurant at the time. I was paying this amount of rent, and then they jacked it up to this amount. You know what I mean? A
Yeah,
way more. And if you do the math,
yeah,
like they probably did the math and went, "I'll pay all the employees and all the everybody's going to be buying books are going to be okay, but I'm not, the big person, the person that owns the place is not going to make no money." You know what I mean?
right, right.
It's like,
I
but if
think.
all, yeah.
Did you watch the Civil Simon video?
Haven't it's on my watch list. I haven't seen it just yet.
Okay,
So,
Simon's buddy Mark, the guy who owns
oh
the
yeah. I've seen that one. Yeah,
he's going out. He's dropping new comic books as well because
yeah,
he apparently had a line of credit open with getting new books, but it just wasn't. He was going into debt, getting books every week because he wasn't able to
right,
sell them.
right.
So he's just stopped doing it, and he's going to try to pay off the debt with the inventory he has now. So I mean, it's just
That's
a tough
smart.
time. It's a tough time
Yeah,
for everybody.
shops in general. Yeah, it's tough time for everybody. Tough time for shops. Tough times for because on our end we don't know if the book, since bags and boards are going 150% up. I can't imagine what the books are going to end up happening. You know what I mean? It's like you think 3-4 bucks is bad now. I'm scared to see what's to come.
I think I think DC and
Mm,
Marvel, they're going to drop prices soon.
right,
They're going to drop prices soon because they got to understand economics. They got to understand
right,
like you know um, that the first thing that people when they're struggling economically, right? When you can't buy groceries and pay rent and all these things, the first thing that they're not going to buy is like
books,
entertainment stuff, right? So
right,
I think you're going to see a drop in movie prices. You're going to see a drop in comic book prices as well. But
right,
it's hard to maneuver when your when your costs are going up. It means your
right,
profit
right,
margins are going to shrink. So
right,
it's I think it's time for this is where business management comes into place. You just got to find a way. But if they're just going to like, oh no, our costs went up, so we got to raise prices. If they're going to take it that route, that's
right.
just a recipe for the end of their business. So like, all it takes is like a couple cycles of like nobody buying comics for you to go out of business. Not that I think Marvel and DC, they make their money off licensing,
Yeah,
to be
and
honest.
they make their money off of the merchandise and movies
Yeah,
more.
the licensing,
Yeah,
right? So,
the books is probably like I said. You know what I mean? It's
which is
this.
why they
Yeah,
need to drop
the
prices,
books.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
books are probably about that much of
yeah,
on the pie. You know what I mean?
right.
It's not a huge pie. It's a big
It's
pie,
not a
but
huge portion of their revenue. So
yeah,
that's what I'm
yeah,
saying. Like, if they're smart and they want to sustain
the, I guess, pipeline and loyalty of what is essentially their bread and butter. You don't have
Right.
books, you don't have content moving forward, right? So,
Right.
and then you have people just not wanting to buy T-shirts and
Right.
other stuff. So they got to make their books more affordable, and then from there, hopefully that'll keep them in business and keep them going.
Well, yeah, until everything goes back to like a steady flow, or at least something happens, to help this stuff out. But let's see.
Yeah, I mean, first off, like, I know people aren't feeling the effects. I think a lot of people are kind of living in a bubble right now. Like, oh
Right.
no, like, I don't. I'm paying a little bit more for stuff, but I don't feel economic pain yet because all the economic data is still pointing toward a strong economy. But if you're reading the tea leaves right now,
Yeah.
we're going to fall off a cliff with what's
S-
going on with the tariffs and what China's doing. So
Right.
prepare yourselves. It's going to be going to be chaotic, and
It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
it'll be a bumpy ride. Hopefully everybody stays
Yeah.
stays above water.
Yeah, it's gonna be super bumpy for a little bit. It's gonna be super bumpy. But
not to get it be a Debbie Downer.
Yeah.
Let's get back to comic books.
Again, but
good.
Well, like Taco said, let's get back to comic books and stuff. And well, I got something in this week that I want to show off real quick.
Okay,
so let's do that real quick. The Vampy print actually came in that the artist did, and it's on Old School, and it's on actually Old School magazine. So it's kind of cool. He painted over the Old School magazines.
Cool.
So yep, and then it's Bruce Timm inspired. So that's kind of cool.
Who's the
And
artist?
it's I forget the artist. I forget the artist name again. I think it was Rob something. I think. I forget. I'll post it down on the description below. But I forget. He did a new one, a night nurse or a nurse or something nurse. I forget if it's night nurse or whatever it is. But it came with a t-shirt.
Sweet.
So it came with a t-shirt.
It's a Funko.
Yeah, it came with a t-shirt. And then it came with a bunch of stickers. Yep. And then it came with a bunch of stickers and stuff, and a card from the company. So
nice.
Yep. So he gave a bunch of stickers. Bunch of stickers. So here's the business card. T-shirt art gallery. If this thing would actually focus a little. T-shirt art gallery. Here we go. It says T-shirt art gallery on this one, on the Dr. Doom T-shirt. There's a little adult sticker. So yeah, and then robot sticker. Then the sticker he did of the glow in the dark print that he did of Ghost Rider. I couldn't think of the name at first. Ghost Rider. And then is this t-shirt too small? Yeah, he did a small one of that one, and then he gave us a large one.
Nice.
Yeah, another large one. Foil sticker.
Cool.
And then he did a Vampy, the Vampy one. So this is what the Vampy print looks like.
Yeah.
This is the normal one. That's the normal one. Yeah, and then he did the foil one.
Did Delaman get one?
Nah, I don't think he did. And then Dr. Doom one. But I know where this Doom sticker's going when I go to Heroes. I'm not gonna use this one. I have somebody in mind to give this to. So
that's Kirby.
Yeah, he used Kirby. Yeah, and then I think he did these on Doctor Doom panels too. I think. Yeah, no, I did not get one. Dell answered you. Yeah, Dell just, Dell just answered. But I may use the vampy ones. Yeah. And the no t-shirt and does this t-shirt is this t-shirt too small? I'm gonna use those too. There's a couple of them. There's a couple of stickers I may use. I might not use all of them, but I may use some of them. Never know. Put that away real quick. Yeah, that's pretty much so far. That's what came in this week. Yeah. Then
All right. Well,
some
the other thing I
other
wanted
stuff.
to bring up is the Peacemaker season 2 trailer.
Yeah.
Did you take a look? Did you watch it?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked his Peacemaker season 1. Season 2, a lot of Easter eggs in season 2 though, and then the trailer in general.
Yeah, they introduced Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, and
Right.
Maxwell Lord. There's that scene where they're interviewing him to
Yeah.
join what looks like it's the Justice League. And then they end up talking smack about him, and he ends up walking out, not getting recruited. But I love that scene because what
Right.
it's establishing is, the we'll get to the book. What's up, fanboy? But it's establishing, the new Justice League in the DCEU, and it's not what you would, it doesn't have Superman and Batman.
Right.
Well, it will eventually have those characters, but they're engineering it the way they did in the post-crisis introduction of the team. So yeah, you're gonna get a bunch of goofy like DC characters, kind of like the what do you call it, the
non-super powered.
Yeah, the kind of the eclectic
Right. Eclectic
heroes.
bunch.
Yeah, the eclectic bunch of heroes, led by Gardner. So that's gonna be fun to watch. I think I love what Gunn is doing with it, and I love the fact that Peacemaker is also like, he's getting the love in this universe that we may see him in movies and whatnot as well. So that's pretty cool. I was really excited about that trailer.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I like them. I like the John Cena as Peacemaker. He was a funny character.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he's getting a season 2. So that's good.
Yeah, it should be interesting. There's a lot of theories around what's going to happen in season 2, but I didn't watch season 1. I probably won't watch season 2 because I don't have Max, but I will be keeping up with it just to see what happens.
Right.
Through the YouTube, because you can generally they'll go over the synopsis and what happens, so I pretty much stay abreast of what's going on.
Yeah, same thing like Sarah, and like the Daredevil stuff, all
that. The whole spoilers for the Thunderbolts movie, so I know what happens.
Right.
The end credit scene. I know.
Yeah. Well, but we'll be nice and won't spoil it for other people. Yeah. We'll spoil it for other people, but yeah, so we won't spoil it for other people who haven't seen it yet. So or haven't had that chance to yet, or some of them are waiting until
we got Delaman and Fanboy in. What were your thoughts of first the Thunderbolts movie if you saw it, and then
I went with Delaman to see Thunderbolts. So
new Avengers.
yeah, or supposed to be new Avengers. Whoops, we dropped a little spoiler, but we didn't really spoil anything because honestly, they had the stars go out there and actually post it all over the place. So It's not really ruining anything, really.
So let's get
So-
to the poll of the week. Remember, we're
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
launch
yeah.
a poll each week.
Yeah,
And
he enjoyed. Yeah. So
Okay.
Fanboy hasn't watched it yet, and he,
I really enjoyed Thunderbolts and Bob. You're giving away too much, Dylan, man. You're giving away too much. I'm waiting for Disney Plus. Yeah.
he ain't giving too much away. we're talking about Top Gun. Yeah, Bob's
Oh,
and
the
Top
call
Gun.
sign,
You know?
Top Gun pilot, call sign Bob.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a poll up from last week. The question was
Superman
which-
or Fantastic Four.
exactly which summer movie, which comic book first is going to have the better, I guess, summer. Or
I think the last time I looked at the poll was Superman won out of both.
Superman won by a considerable amount. It was 88% to like 12%. So
Right.
people think Superman's going to be the winner.
I mean, honestly, I'm not surprised because of being like we were talking about last time. I think the main reason it's gonna be the movie of the summer is because of Crypto.
I honestly think Crypto's not going to be in the movie as he's not going to be in much of the movie. I think they're going to show him.
Yeah, but everybody's gonna bring their kids, and everybody's gonna want to go. Hey, I want to go again. I want to go again just to watch it. So I mean, yeah. See, we'll see. Like Fanboy says, we'll see, but hoping so. If Gunn can do that with Guardians of the Galaxy, I don't see why he couldn't do that with Superman. So.
So yeah, go check out this week's poll. It's already up. This week's poll is what, as a collector, what do you prefer to collect? Okay, and I'm not talking, there's a parentheses, not movies. We're not talking movies. We're talking as a comic book collector. Okay, what do you prefer to collect? And the three choices are DC, Indie, or Marvel. Okay, so you can go and choose. I already know what Jeff's answer is, right?
Well, if you think about it, it's an indie pretty much.
Yeah, it's the indie. I'm a DC guy. I didn't vote in it yet because I can't vote in it. I put up the poll so I don't get a say. But
I'm like I'm indie, and then when I was a kid, I was Marvel guy, and then when I got back into it, I was a DC guy. So and then I got tired of those stories, and I went indie.
All right, Delaman saying he's Marvel. I already know Fanboy's DC.
So we got a good mix in the chat here.
Yeah, and then everybody else that's gonna watch it on the rewind, I see a lot of Marvel and a lot. I think Marvel may win.
To be honest, I think we're in a Marvel environment, meaning the last 20 years, right? The last 20 years, we've just had the rise of the MCU,
right?
Cinematic popularity of the MCU. It brought a lot of people into Marvel Comics, right?
Right. And now if Gunn's Superman movie does good or does the right thing, it might actually pull more people, both ways now. You know what I mean? So we may have equal footing finally, maybe.
It'll be interesting. I mean, I'm not objective, but if you fairly read Marvel stuff and DC stuff, and especially during the 80s to 90s, right?
But DC, well, one thing about DC, they're both good. But DC seem to be a little dark. Some of it seems to be a little darker. Some of it, not all of it, but most of it was a little darker. You know what I mean?
Well, it's ironic. It's like Marvel's so deep in the quote unquote, what is it called? The multiverse, right?
Right,
Marvel's
right,
so steeped in the multiverse, but it
right.
was actually DC that was introducing the multiverse
Yep.
on a grand scale in the 80s and 90s. It wasn't until like the mid 90s that DC kind of delved into alternate universes.
Right, right,
Or sorry, Marvel. It was like mid
right,
90s when Marvel did it, but it was DC that had already like
right,
explored it and done it, and then was dealing with the consequences of that.
right.
So I just find it ironic that Marvel we're in the throes of a Marvel multiversal kind of storyline right now,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
DC's introducing things as like a new baseline, right? It's not
Right.
multiversal at all. So I just find that
Yeah,
ironic.
because multiverse thing was DC's thing originally, and all the younger generation probably thinks it's it's a Marvel thing. So the older head should already know.
Yeah,
So
Fanboy says I've only read a few Spider-Man issues and New Avengers up until Civil War. Marvel stories never drew me in. I'm of the same.
right.
Um, I
I'm
loved
I've
Burn
I've
X-Men.
noticed one thing about Marvel stuff. Younger is always it's always been Marvel. Then when you get older, it's a lot of people would turn to DC. That's what I've noticed
Yeah,
is because that's what happened to me was younger. I was in the Spider-Man, all that stuff, and then the older the little older I got, I seemed to be because back then I wasn't interested in DC when I was younger because I think the stories were a little too complicated at the time when you're younger, you're reading it goes, you know.
yeah,
And then now you get older and read it, oh, understand it more. Okay, I like DC, so I
yeah.
can understand it.
The DC universe is actually really vast in terms of
Yeah,
stories and characters.
right.
So it it's hard to keep
Yeah,
up with it, especially with the different, like when you have different parallel, because they had something called um what was it called? It was basically they had a whole it was Elseworlds, right? They had a whole
right.
like what if kind of like
Yep.
storyline called Elseworlds. So they'd introduce all these like
Right.
new characters and scenarios around a core group of characters. And that's confusing. Like over time, like it when you
Mhm.
don't have a linear, and that's kind of the reason why, like, um, DC wanted to kind of reset, but they went
Right.
right back to the multiversal stuff and confused everybody again. So it's
Right.
just I wish DC would kind of do what Marvel does and just stick with like a core group of characters, develop them. You can
Right.
have like characters within a set, piece, but they
Right.
they tend to like just like, you know, they'll like cycle in people here and there because they have the characters to do that. They'll just cycle
Right.
them in and it gets really
Convoluted.
discombobulated. That's my critique of it.
Really yeah, really convoluted. But that's why I'm saying like that Marvel's always been for the younger people. Oh, hey, it's easier to pick up. It's easier to understand. And then DC, it's a little more complicated, or the stories go over younger's head. And then when you get older, you figure, oh, hey, I understand it more. I enjoy
Yeah.
this more.
Yeah. That's a great point. Like Daredevil.
Yeah,
Daredevil is like it's like
yeah,
self-contained, right?
right,
You'll have like maybe Punisher pop in or Spider-Man
right,
pop in, but it's really a self-contained story. There's not like much
right.
outside of that. But DC's always been like, even with Superman, he's always had,
The
you
Batman
know,
or somebody,
yeah, like
somebody,
Aquaman popping in with
right, right,
Aqualad and all this stuff, and then it's
right,
like
right.
that's cool, but it's not really self-contained, right? It's like
Right. So it's a whole universe.
yeah,
But at least the Daredevil is one, and at least it's street level. All the street level characters are gonna pop in on that one.
right, right.
But on Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, you don't know who's
You don't
gonna
know
pop
what's
up.
going on half the time. You're just like,
Yeah, you're like, huh?
yeah, are
Yeah,
they
unless
together? Are
you
they not? What's going on here?
right.
Like,
Yeah. So,
what timeline are we in?
but yeah, but it's understandable. It's understandable. You know what I mean? So, like I said, Marvel's gonna pull the younger guys in because it's easier to understand, and then the older, the older you get, the older guys get. That's how it's always. I think that's how it's always been. It's like Marvel. Oh, characters are cool, pull you in, and then older you get, I'm like, I'm getting tired of Marvel, and then you go reading DC stuff, and you go, oh, okay, So
DC definitely has the better characters. I don't care what you
yeah,
say. Like
right.
Marvel, I love X-Men, but X-Men,
It's
it
characters they don't have as much depth as DC characters do. You know
absolutely,
what I mean?
yeah, absolutely. Like X-Men's great up to a certain point.
Right.
And then even Spider-Man's great.
Like you
Um,
said, to a certain point. But
to a
if you
certain
look at the rogues galleries of Spider-Man and Bat, you know what I mean? It's a similar
yeah.
type,
If
type,
you were to
but
really do like a DC like Marvel comparison, and then this is coming from a DC guy, of course. But
yeah.
first off, there's nobody in Marvel that can touch Superman.
Mm,
Nobody.
mm.
Maybe,
Well,
and you can make the argument, yeah, there are people more powerful than Superman, right? Because there's like gods and stuff. But I'm just
right,
talking from a character standpoint.
mm,
The story. There's no
right.
story or character that can top Superman. It's the ultimate like comic book story. It's like
Well, well,
this orphan
if
baby that comes right to Earth, and
like
he's
people say, I like to
vulnerable.
say, it's the Sentry is the Marvel's equal version
And he's a
of
weaker
yeah,
character because
yeah,
he's what developed in a lab and has like mental
right,
health problems. No, okay, so Superman's a
yeah,
better character.
but yeah, but they say, but that's how some people say Marvel's equivalent.
Equivalent, but not the
But
better
if you
character.
really think about it, their equivalent would be hmm, not really, because I thought about it, and he's really more. No, he's not really Batman either. So because I was thinking about Captain America,
Yeah.
super serum. So
Well, think about this, like Wolverine, okay? Wolverine has a healing factor, right?
Mm,
Wolverine also has adamantium bones.
mhm.
Superman, adamantium has a melting point, okay? Superman could just literally melt
Wolverine,
Wolverine into like oblivion
yeah,
in,
or
in
into
like
a
a second too.
into a big
You're
puddle.
taking Marvel's best character who's survived through all this, like,
Yeah,
whatever crap, but you put him against Superman, it's no contest. Superman just like intense
Mhm.
heat ray him till his
Right.
adamantium
I
bones
mean, the
melt.
only one that I can think
Can't
would be
regenerate.
yeah,
It's like,
but the only one I think that could actually even semi near at all would be. I mean, if you think about it, the matter the Hulk gets, the Hulk, the Hulk or Thor, those are the two that
Hulk
would
is
be
still
able to.
organic flesh.
Yeah,
Again,
I
the heat
know. But
ray.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying the two that might be able to even anywhere near him at all would be Thor and and the Hulk maybe.
Yeah, Thor.
So
I would say Thor has probably a better shot than Hulk.
right, right, Thor,
But
yeah,
even Thor is like, come on. It's like he's
or
gonna throw a hammer. What's a
well,
hammer
Marvel got
gonna
hurt.
do?
Marvel got Hercules too, So the two that the closest is Thor and Hercules, maybe.
Yeah. Um,
Well, if you think about and they got magic characters too. So and he's weak to Superman's weak to magic. So there's another group of them that are
that's true. I,
yeah,
I would say the characters that would be able to defeat Superman are like Galactus or people who can just use
mm,
magic to produce like kryptonite. They can make their whole Earth kryptonite, just kill him, right? So like
right,
anybody could, like that's the thing about like there's a lot of DC characters that could actually take
right,
out Superman because they have the ability to mold or
Right.
control kryptonite. So
Yeah, but if you think about the magic characters, I mean, would you think what is it?
yeah,
Um
Doctor Strange. Yeah, Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange one. That's one. And then well, I was thinking about what is it? Ghost Rider maybe, because since he made made a deal, you know what I mean? He's actually part, he might be mad. I don't know. He
Ghost
might be.
Rider's not going to do anything to Superman.
Eh,
You got to be able to manipulate
yeah.
kryptonite. If you're able to manipulate
I mean,
kryptonite,
isn't
then
not I'm not only that, not only that, but he's weak to no matter, because I don't know if if we consider Ghost Rider magic character at all, because yeah, see,
yeah.
that's why I'm like, yeah, Scarlet Witch because of the dark hold, maybe, because she freaking,
Ghost Rider. Yeah, I think Silver Surfer could probably
yeah, Silver Surfer, that's maybe. That's even a
you
maybe.
could at
That
least
we're
get
not
away
even.
from Superman. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
At least get away
yeah,
from Superman.
yeah.
Sometimes
But
running away.
Galactus, man, all Galactus is gonna do is swallow him, and that's it. He's or step on him. Mm,
But yeah,
yeah.
again, I think just DC has the better characters.
Mm.
I do love both. Don't get me wrong. I love Marvel. I
Yeah,
love DC. I'm a comic book guy, so I
we're
love
both,
everything.
yeah, we love both sides.
Yeah,
It's just interesting to see. But
yeah.
what I've always been curious about is what is it? Robert Kirkman's what the hell is that damn cartoon called again? And uh on Amazon Prime now. What the hell? In
Invincible.
Invincible. I'm curious if Invincible and yeah.
Superman.
I'm curious about that
I think they've been I think what
clash
is
would
it?
be kind of cool.
What's the one? The Boys.
Yeah.
Homelander versus Superman.
Homelander, yeah, that would be kind of interesting to see. I wouldn't mind seeing those characters going against him.
Which is like
Homelander and
the Sentry kind of argument, right? It's like
yeah.
Sentry versus Superman.
It's pretty much it's pretty much steroid version of Superman. Pretty much that's what that's what Homelander is. But it'd be interesting to see. I mean, to see these characters go up against him, since everybody else is,
Yeah.
everybody's always talking about Marvel and DC, but nobody's talking about.
So Delaman's saying I think Hulk can put up a very good fight with Superman. That's if they were fighting like fisticuffs, right? But Superman can go the speed of light. So
right,
speed of light times his mass would bore a hole right through the Hulk.
Yeah, but don't forget the Hulk gets, he gets stronger though. The matter he gets a little, you know what I mean? He gets a lot stronger though. So I'm just saying.
Hulk can't generate that kind of force though.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm saying
he doesn't have the mass and velocity to generate
the
force of the speed of light times Superman's mass.
Right.
And that's a force that Hulk could not withstand.
Right.
He'd take that hit and bore a hole right through him because he's organic.
Right.
So that's the battle. That's how it would end.
Yeah.
Plus, again, I bring up the heat vision thing. You just incinerate him because Hulk's organic.
Well, depending on which Hulk he goes against. If he goes against Red Hulk, the matter he gets it, the hotter he gets. So
okay, that boy brings up a great point. Like, can Hulk absorb kryptonite radiation? Does he have some kind of kryptonite emitting from?
Right.
Then that would change the odds.
Change the Well, depending on which, like I said, depending on which Hulks these are, like the red one, he heats out. So he'd be
red kryptonite.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying it's like, because if you think about all the Hulks, it's like Red Hulk gets hotter with the matter he gets, and then this one he gets Green one gets stronger. So imagine if he does use here, let's just say he used heat vision against Red Hulk. All it's gonna do it all probably to Red Hulk. All it's gonna do is probably power Red Hulk up more.
Yeah.
And then Green Hulk. that like you said, speed of light. All it's gonna take, but
Yeah.
depending on, it's depending on a lot.
It really bugs me because even in the DC universe, it's like
Yeah.
Batman takes out Superman with these like tricks and stuff.
Right.
And Superman's really not like focused on like destroying him, right? He's kind of like, I'm so strong, I'll just kind of push him and like do all. He's just toying with him and not taking it seriously, and then boom, he gets shot with a kryptonite like arrows.
like Fanboy says. all that's gonna take is somebody kidnapping Lois.
That's true. That's a vulnerable point for him.
Yeah.
Lois, even Jimmy Olsen. Like if you held Jimmy Olsen hostage, Superman, you're gonna stop him in his tracks. Yeah. But again, speed of light, man. How are you gonna hold Jimmy Olsen when someone's moving at the speed of light? That's the thing. Like DC kind of weakens him.
Well,
in situations.
I'm wondering. Would he be able to take Thor's Thunderbolt though? Because since he's kind of Thor's kind of considered magic too. He's a god and magic too. So him getting hit by a freaking Thor Thunderbolt might stop him in his tracks a little bit, or it might stun him a little.
Invulnerable. He's
but think about it. He's not the Mjolnir's. His hammer's magic. It's a magic hammer. So you never know. I'm just saying.
Maybe. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. You could always make that kind of scenario, I guess, because he is vulnerable to magic. That's true.
Right. And then plus, and then a lot of, and Thor's a god on top of that. So it's like, Yeah. Oh yeah. It was it was I forgot about that. Yeah. I forgot. Forgot about
was
that.
It what I forget. Was that the case? Like, could Thor's hammer like hurt him? I doubt DC would give that.
I mean, if you honestly think about it, and like DC's have given us plenty of where it goes, hey, he's vulnerable to magic, and if you think about it, really think about it, Thor stuff is really, Thor's in between. So yeah. Okay, yeah. And call. If Shazam's Thunderbolt can hurt him.
True. Okay, so there you go. There's your answer.
Yep. So that's kind of fun.
I'm reading. They're saying Superman could not lift Thor's hammer because it's like only Mjolnir can only be lifted by the people that are worthy, right?
Right. So he's not. So Superman's.
My question is whether it would hurt him or not. You could who cares about lifting it up? If you threw it at him, would it hurt him? I don't think it would.
I would think so. Maybe if it was, since it's
true. Superman can if you're on par with his strength and invulnerability, it can he can be punched and hurt for sure.
Right.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Oh yeah, and with the crossover, yeah.
Who's more worthy than Clark? That's right. Fanboy. Knowing dropping the knowledge on us. All right.
Yeah.
Superman
that was the 90s.
Well, that makes it very scary then. Superman wielding Thor's hammer. Not that he'd need it, but
yeah, but you already thought he was overpowered then. Imagine him wielding the hammer and freaking having Thor's Thunderbolts and stuff.
Rogue could probably
Oh
Because
yeah,
Rogue could
Rogue can.
absorb Superman's powers.
There's two X-Men that I think could would be Rogue, and then I forget if Mystique mimics him, would she mimic the powers
She
too?
can only mimic his physique, his physical appearance. She can't
Right.
mimic his power. So
So she can mimic and kidnap Lois, or she can pretend to be Lois.
yeah.
So
These are good fan theories.
Yeah, it's just fun. These are fun.
These are fun. I love movies.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four would not stand a chance against.
Maybe Thing. Maybe Thing. Maybe Thing. And then depending on if well, no, because if Johnny Storm, I just thought about it. Not really, because but he could probably absorb his heat vision, but that's probably it.
That's it. Yeah,
that would probably
wouldn't impact Johnny,
but
a punch would.
Yeah. Mystique.
How fun would Mystique be as a wife?
As a wife or a girlfriend. Dude, be a different person.
I hope Lady Prev's not watching that.
Yeah.
But yes, it would be very fun as it.
Yeah. Be a different wife every day.
On request, right?
Yeah. Or it could be a really, really bad idea at the same time. Yeah.
That's true. She could probably mess with you. That'd be a psychological
Yeah. But I'm wondering. Actually, now I'm wondering if Emma Frost would be able to mess with him at all.
Mess with Superman?
Yeah, I'm wondering if Emma would be able to, because she's what is it? Her diamond, or would her diamond form be able to? Maybe.
I don't think Superman's vulnerable to mental attacks. It's part of his vulnerability, right?
Right. I'm just, I'm wondering. I'm just wondering. Well, what would be funny? He's the Man of Steel, and we have Magneto. Likes to manipulate metal stuff. It'd be kind of funny to see if Magneto would be able to make him a puppet.
No.
No, I know. It's
you know who might challenge, maybe Apocalypse.
Oh yeah, on X-Men side, yeah, Apocalypse
can't be.
Yeah,
you can't really destroy him. He has the ability to shapeshift and absorb.
I'm wondering who's the other one? In the Deadpool movies, forget the damn guy's name. Turns into metal, and it's Magic's brother.
Yeah, anybody melting point. Metal is not going to do it. Melting point. Superman can melt any kind of metal.
Yeah, I know that. I'm just saying, just at least withstand him for a while. At least fight him for a while before he uses heat vision.
I think Rogue, again, if Rogue could touch him, she'd absorb his powers.
Yeah,
and it would just be a
because
fight.
She already absorbed Captain Marvel's power, so yeah, that would be that would be an interesting one.
Like Rogue, this is how if I was Rogue, this is how I'd do it. I'd have Doctor Strange next to me, and I'd absorb his powers. Or no, wait, she couldn't absorb his magic powers.
But
it has to be mutant powers, right?
Yeah.
So maybe she could.
Well, it doesn't really matter because she already flies anyway, so she could fly up to him. Well,
yeah, she's super strong anyway, right? So
yeah. So she could fly right up to him and go, hey, touch her with a pinky
and absorb. I'm just wondering if that's a thing. If he could, if she could absorb his powers, because he's not a mutant,
right?
She can only absorb mutant powers, right?
Well, because she took out her first boyfriend. It was a normal human, so I would assume she'd be able to take out anybody.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, Christina. How you doing?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Are we gonna get
Well,
some books?
yeah, sure. Well, let's see what you got. I was just gonna show off my free comic book day stuff.
All right, so the Peacemaker season 2 trailer had me very excited. Again,
Right.
we're gonna see the post-crisis introduction of Justice League. So essentially, I just want to show off the two books this week, because I think these will become more and more relevant as more people jump into
On the DC bandwagon, which is happening slowly but surely.
Well, yep. You showed them off before. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, did I show these off before?
Yep.
Both of them?
Yeah.
Oh man, my bad. All right.
No, you're good. But yeah, but like you said, it's gonna since that Peacemaker coming in, those two books are gonna go up in value
Right.
though, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, we basically got confirmation of Gardner and Maxwell Lord
Right.
and Hawkgirl in appearing in the new season of Peacemaker. We already have confirmation that Metamorpho and Mr. Terrific are in the Superman.
Right.
So we've got a couple of characters kind of in the mix. I even think the Peacemaker can make it into the Justice League. You're just going to see an odd collection of characters like this one introduces. They just introduce a bunch of sort of not the main. Eventually, the main members kind of make their way into it, but initially it starts out with like just a Batman and a host of like non-core characters, and they're just trying to create a team and create like an agenda around protecting the Earth and all that. So it's pretty cool. I think we're going to get a really good version from James Gunn. And
it'd be nice. Yeah, that'd be nice to actually get a decent Justice. So he's pretty much taken all like Guardians of the Galaxy, the lesser known heroes,
the lesser known
create
heroes,
and then make them the popular ones. And watch next DC is gonna be like, hey, you thought this version of this? We'll give you this version. Yeah,
essentially. Yeah. So, I mean, I think the core Justice League is going to be Guy. Like this comic book, it's going to be Guy. It's going to be Beetle. It's going to be Metamorpho. It's going to be Booster Gold.
And then the one Big Barda's husband,
Mr. Miracle. Yeah, Mr. Miracle.
Mr. Miracle. Yeah.
Probably.
So if you like Mr. Miracle first appearances, I would pick now before he shows up in the DCE Guns DCEU, because I won't be I won't be surprised if he does. So
again, Hawkgirl is confirmed, so Hawkgirl's in there.
Yeah, this means Hawkman's going to be right behind her.
It would make
sense. If you're bringing Hawkgirl, it means Hawkman's going to be right behind her.
Yep.
And then let's see. So Zatanna,
just like in the comics, you're going to have these like again, a eclectic group, and then the Trinity is going to show up. The Trinity is going to show up and say, "Okay, you guys, good try. You guys are doing your best, but we'll take it over from here." And then you're just going to have the real Justice League. You have Flash and Aquaman at that point.
Yeah, eventually,
be good.
Eventually, but like Gunn likes to do, he always likes to take the lesser known team first. Like if he honestly, if he did the Avengers, I think he would have took the West Coast Avengers or one of those, event.
I'm interested to get Fanboy's take on this. Actually, if you're still there, Fanboy, they introduced the scene in the season 2 trailer of what looks to be a Native American shaman. I kind of like there's this like glowing fire around this Native American shaman. I'm wondering if that's Apache Chief,
Could be.
right?
Could be.
Like Apache Chief could be part of the Justice League, which
Yeah, so that's another
would
one
be
that's
awesome.
less yeah,
Yeah.
that's another lesser known character. You thought that, that book wasn't expensive then or not as expensive, but watch it watch Gunn confirm it and then the freaking book goes
Yeah, go get your Apache Chief copies. I mean, that's
Yeah.
he was not a big character in the DC universe, but hopefully
Like I
that will.
said, like we like to say, Gunn likes to use lesser known characters. Look at his freaking Suicide Squad. Weasel. Yeah.
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker, Polka Dot Man. So it's like all the lesser known. And then Rat. What was it? Rat King or whatever it was. Yeah,
Shark, what was it? Shark King?
Yeah.
No, wasn't it?
No, King Shark.
King Shark.
That's it. Yeah. So
King Shark.
yeah, but
Which
yeah,
King Shark was
so-
actually my favorite character because
yeah,
he's hilarious.
yeah.
I don't think King Shark's gonna make it in the Justice League though. That's
Nah, but that's
I feel like
Suicide Squad.
he's in
But
the
I'm
same
saying,
realm as Peacemaker.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Manitou Raven. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing, we're probably gonna see the new Teen Titans, right? Or the Teen
Mhm.
sorry, I should say the Teen Titans. Maybe we'll see I mean, we'll probably see the modern version of the Teen Titans then, right? The ones in the comic books.
Honestly, we might see George Perez's version of the Titans, maybe.
That's what I'd like. That's what I'd like to see. But that's
I have a feeling it might be it, or it might be
Right.
the Young Justice versions of them.
hmm.
You never know because Gunn's gonna take the lesser known, what I mean, Teen Titans maybe. Like, oh, these are the lesser known sidekicks. I'm gonna yank out these guys, or make his
All right,
own
Pamela,
version.
you gotta elaborate on Manitou Raven because I don't think I've too knowledgeable about that character.
Mm-hmm. And then I'll show you guys what I picked up for Free Comic Book Day. I just haven't put back them boredom yet, just yet.
See what you got.
Monsters, King Spot,
Oh, you
zero
think
issue
it's
from.
this dude? Okay, that could be that guy.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Kelly's run. Joe Kelly's run. That's what they were saying. Yep. But so we picked up Mark Spears.
You got it, huh?
Monsters. Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to honestly to pick it up to read to see if it's any good, and then because was childhood.
Spears
VR
did
Troopers.
a Vampy cover too. Did you go get that one?
Yep, right here.
Oh,
it's
you
right
got
here.
it.
Yeah, I got it. I like the monsters on it. I even said it the last time. I like the monsters and stuff on it, but the faces on the monsters. I like it, but she looks like I keep looking at it. She looks like those rubber sex dolls.
Okay.
I'm just saying because the her skin looks rubbery. It doesn't look like it's normal skin. That's what it seems a little weird to like looking at it. It seems a little weird, but not. You know what I mean? I see.
Like it looks like silicone. You're saying, like silicone. Okay.
Yep. And then this is because it was childhood VR Troopers.
Nice.
And then I picked up what was it? Yep. I picked up this because I just wanted to read it because it's from their line. Just wanted to pick it up just to read. And then we picked up Post Malone's book.
Nice.
Yep. I was Free Comic Book Day. If you're curious about reading certain books, you normally pick those books up. So,
did you pick up that Spider-Man book? That's what I wanted. I wanted to pick up the Spider-Man Free Comic Book Day. Not the
No.
kids one, but that one. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that one.
Speed Racer. Bit
I love
childhood
Speed
too.
Racer. I'm sorry, I'm a big fan of Speed Racer.
Yeah,
I wish they
childhood.
do like a. I wish they
Yeah, I
introduce.
picked up the voices like I first. I think it was first appearance of female Ghost Rider, or I forget, something like that. I was something like that. But yeah, those were all the ones I picked up. But I was curious about the Mark Spears stuff. The main reason I picked these up is honestly to skim through it, to read them, to see to see if I'm interested in any of it. So, being honest, but
Well, I think they confirmed that we're getting White Rabbit in the season 2, as she's coming in as a villain. And I don't know too much about the White Rabbit.
I think she was she's a Batman's Rogue Gallery character at that I can remember.
Okay. Yeah,
but,
I think that she was introduced in Batman.
Yeah, and, that's what I can remember.
I'm just wondering if like that has people excited.
Because Batman, that means Batman's in his universe.
Yeah.
Not only that, but in Peacemaker's universe.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe he'll show up in Peacemaker season 2. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Never say never, right?
Yeah. Or you might see a silhouette of a bat.
Yeah, I think they've made reference to him though many times in the show.
Yeah. I mean, I ain't got nothing else. You got anything else?
Nothing else.
Yeah. So next week we'll have I always get his last name.
Ryan Otogawa.
on Otaku's channel. Double Tigers special. I was freaking mess up the month, but Pacific Islander month. Okay, make it easy. So we'll have him on Otaku's channel. But just so tune into Otaku's. If any, I'll link everything as soon as Otaku throws it up. I'll link everything. I'll make stories and all kinds of fun stuff.
It'll be a week from today. It's same bat time, same bat channel as Double Tigers, just over on my channel.
Right.
And this Tuesday on the 13th, we got Dave Law.
Okay.
Indie comic book creator, self-publishing creator, really talented artist. He's going to come and talk to us. We've showcased some great artists this month from the comic book
I've looked up a couple of them. So some of them are,
and we had Mog Park on, we had Stephen Yu on, we've had Philip Jean on.
Right.
Now we're going to get Dave Law, Ryan Otogawa, and coming soon on I think the 24th or so. And hopefully you can jump in on that too. I think it's a Saturday show as well. We're going to have Bernard Chang, Sean Chen, and
I'll jump in on that one.
I forget the other creator, but they're going to be talking their new Monkey Prince project DC. So really excited to connect with those guys, talk to them. That'll be over on K-Pop's channel. Right. So we got a lot of cool Asian American creators on this month. Right. So hopefully you guys can tune in and give us some support.
Yep. And then that's all we got for right now, guys. And we'll see you next week on Otaku's channel. See you later. All right.